Good morning. Hi, everyone. It's Coffee with Jen and Sharon.
Good morning, everybody.
How you doing today, Jen?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
Yeah. What's that?
I was going to say, we're talking about our alone time today.
Yeah, is non-existent.
It's not quiet in your house today?
No, there's always somebody around in the kitchen. Okay, we just talk about the kitchen for 1 minute. What is the longest that you think your kitchen counter has stayed clean since the lockdown times have begun?
Well, that implies that it was clean before that. But there are occasional times when it's totally clean. But I don't know. I mean, 15 minutes maybe?
Max, I'm going to say. You know that the definition of a New York minute is supposed to be like the amount of time between when the light turns green and somebody honks at you. My new definition of the pro household minute is the time between when I've cleared off the counters and put everything in the dishwasher and somebody puts a dirty dish on the counter.
Yeah, I mean, imagine how our kitchens feel. They probably had all this peace and quiet before, and now everybody's cooking and throwing stuff around and messing it up.
Exactly. Our kitchens are feeling abused, and meanwhile, our party clothes are feeling totally neglected.
Maybe they need the break.
Maybe. Well, that's another way to look at it. And remember how we talked like a long time ago, we talked about my tote bags, about how my tote bags are sad because they don't go anywhere anymore.
Yes.
I used to have my life organized by tote bags. You know, when I go to this place, it takes this tote bag and that one. Life is different for sure. But Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New Year. It's good to be back.
Yeah, we turned the calendar. It's a new year, so everything's completely different now, right?
So everything does feel a little different this week, though. But the same old. My kids are back in school. Are your girls back at college, or are they home?
No, not yet. They supposedly they will go back in person toward the end of this month. They're both excited to go. I think they're pretty much done being in this house with us. Not that we're bad people, but I think that everybody would like their alone time back. You know, my oldest had a single at college, so. And she has a single in our house, but I don't know, it's not the same. I don't know, for some reason it isn't the same thing at all.
What about you guys? Are you missing your empty nest?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I really miss? This is gonna sound terrible. I miss the hot bar at Whole Foods. that was our empty nest date night. Is to meet up after work at the Whole Foods hot bar and have a beer and get some food from the hot bar and then go do our grocery shopping and go home. We are some wild and crazy people, let me tell you. But that felt to me like that was just so free and easy. There was no planning required. You didn't really have to worry about what you were in the mood for. So I'm mourning the loss of that. And I don't know that the hot bar is ever coming back after COVID anyway. So
maybe someday.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we should start by saying we acknowledge that the loss of me time is a total first world problem.
Absolutely.
We get it, you know. And I keep thinking about like all those immigrants from in the early 1900s and before who, you know, the Italians and the Germans and the Scots who lived in those tenement houses. And they still have them, one in New York City that you can go tour, which someday perhaps we'll be allowed to do again. And people live like 12 people in a little cracker box of a room. I get it. I get that this is a first world problem.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make me miss it any less.
And you know, all those immigrants had something else in common with us this year. They couldn't see their families at Christmas and maybe sometimes ever again. I've been thinking a lot about how a lot of people are lonely. It's weird. It's like it's either you're lonely or you have too much togetherness with people,
right?
That in between time.
Yeah, we want the Goldilocks life.
And we're being totally frivolous today.
Totally frivolous, but I mean, as long as we're just sharing what's in our hearts. Like if we could have our druthers, we want to have just the right amount of togetherness where we enjoy it, and then just the right amount of alone time where we can appreciate it.
Right. And I can't complain because I had a date the other night.
You did? What'd you do?
My husband and I drove to the restaurant to pick up takeout.
That's fantastic.
We said, "Guys, we're going on a date. We'll be back in 20 minutes."
That relates very beautifully to an article that we wanted to draw to our followers' attention, which is our friend Emily, who's on staff at your team, wrote a really great essay about how she has reclaimed her me time by driving. And I thought that's so brilliant. And what I think is funny is she lives in LA. She moved from Virginia to LA, where notoriously traffic is awful and you hate being in your car, but you can't get anywhere without being in the car. And she even hilariously describes how when they first moved there, they wanted to do all the things that you can do that are so fun and exciting in LA, but they could never get to them. And like she had a total meltdown about what is the point of living someplace with all these great things to do and you can't get there. And then they learned how to navigate the traffic. But now with fewer people on the road, I think she has decided that's her way to get her alone time. Is she's become the Uber driver for Uber Eats in her house. She goes out to pick up the takeout. And that's how she's found her alone time. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, and I will say that is a major benefit of having older kids is that you can leave them home and do your errands. Errands suddenly become alone time. I mean, do you remember taking little kids to the store? When my kids were little, there was no curbside pickup. If you needed a gallon of milk and you had 3 kids under 4 or 5, you were taking them all in the store with you.
Yeah, I still remember, this haunts me, this picture of my sister-in-law was at the grocery store with her 3 little ones. She had to take 2 carts, one for the kids and one for the food. And she had just rung up an entire load of groceries, and her littlest one reached over and hit a button and voided out the whole order, and they had to rescan everything.
Wow.
And, the kids are melting down and she's melting down. And yeah, I don't really miss that part.
No, I mean, when the kids were that little, the alone time counted as like going to the dentist.
Mm-hmm. The drugstore was my favorite place to go. It was my favorite. My sister and Kathy and I would talk about how, don't you love going to Walgreens by yourself at 9 o'clock at night? It was the best.
Or Target, something like that. This is my most pathetic alone time ever. I think New Year's Eve. I was just thinking about this because it was New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve, when my youngest one was in utero, I got very sick with a virus, stomach virus, and it just kept getting worse and worse. And I needed to go to the hospital. I knew because I was pregnant, I was dehydrated, but we had 2 little kids sleeping. And my husband said, well, we could call somebody and I can drive you. I said, you know what? I'll just wait till I get sick. And then I'll quickly drive to the hospital before I get sick again. Because we live close to the hospital. It's only 10 minutes. But, and then I got there and they had heated blankets. And they gave me medication that made me stop feeling nauseated. And they just kept checking on me to see how I was.
Oh, that's fabulous.
I wasn't sick anymore. I had no one to take care of. I was like, this is the most pampered I've been in years. And I was in the hospital on New Year's Eve, but I was feeling good.
So that was Sharon simultaneously best and worst New Year's Eve.
That's true. I'm not sure it counts as the best New Year's Eve, but it was the best. It was the best alone time I'd had in a while.
Well, we talk about that sometimes, like who mothers the moms, and it does feel good to have somebody take that burden off sometimes and say, well, we got this. We'll take care of it. It's all good. I can see why that's an indelible memory for you, for sure.
At this point, Jen, hopefully, I think I'm there. We're old enough that our kids don't want to come in the bathroom with us. Well,
yes. We're done with that. Safely behind us.
I might still get a knock or a mom, but I say, I'm in the bathroom. Unlike a 4-year-old, they understand that's something to step away from.
Exactly. And then eventually you will return to them. Unlike, toddlers don't get that. They think it's a permanent thing.
Sometimes I like to go for a walk to get my alone time, and I'll like either just enjoy nature or I'll listen to a podcast or I'll call a friend. Mm-hmm. But I always invite my family to come on the walk. And I always...
But you can count on being turned down about 80% of the time, right?
This is my confession. I might get a yes from at least one of the children. And part of me thinks that's so wonderful, so lovely. I get to spend time with them. And the other one's like, okay, no alone time on my walk today.
Well, then you just have to take another walk later.
That's right.
Sometimes I'll do a combo. I'll do a couple of laps with the person who wants to go with me. Because also I am thrilled when they want to spend any time with me. I think that's but they never want to go as far or as long or even usually as fast as I would like to go. So I do a couple laps with them and then I drop them off and I said, oh, I'm going to take a few more laps and I'll be back.
I've definitely done that as well. Like
maybe I can't believe you and I haven't like intersected paths with each other on these.
Well, we're at opposite ends of town, but you would think with all this walking that we would intersect somewhere.
It's going to happen someday, I have no doubt. Or we'll see each other at the grocery store because that's another place that moms go to hide out. I used to laugh about the number of moms I would see in the parking lot, either at Target or grocery store or the gym, any place. Moms on phones talking to, they're talking to other moms because that was the place you could go.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it's still happening. Even if you don't have any place you have to go, maybe you still go to the car. If you do, we won't blow your secret. It's safe with us.
Well, I remember going to the gym when my kids were little. And first of all, they had childcare there.
Mm-hmm.
They don't check on you to see whether you're working out. You can go to the gym. Bring your child to childcare and you can sit in the lobby or wherever and you can you could read a book. You could leave them there an extra 15 minutes if you wanted a little extra time.
I hope your kids aren't watching this. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, all those times we thought she was working out.
I was more likely to be the one who I was in like a group exercise class and the door would creak open and you say, oh, it was one of the childcare people. And I knew.
Don't let it be me.
Who is it? Sharon. So-and-so is just having a very hard time. Yeah.
We've all been there, I think, definitely.
Because when the kids are little, if you have brought them to the gym with you, all the steps that you have taken to make that happen.
Yes.
To work around the nap times, to pack everybody up, to mentally prepare them to be leaving you, to get yourself in your gym clothes, to make
paramilitary organization to get that out the door. Yes, right.
You don't want the beckoning of shame or whatever it is out of the track.
All the moms are holding their breath going, don't let it be me. Don't let it be me. And let's be clear, it's not that we don't love and want to spend time with our kids, because we do. But we also do like to have some time where we're just in our own heads, having our own thoughts. And I have to say, too, one of the things I miss is I never thought I would miss this. I used to complain about driving in circles in my life and how I would just spend time going to and from the high school in our community. It's a 7-minute drive from my house to the high school. But I had 2 kids for a while in the high school, and they had different schedules and different activities they were doing, and they didn't ever seem to know anybody they could carpool with. So I would just, I'll come get you. I work from home. I can do it. So I would do laps, 4 or 5 times a day, sometimes going to and from that high school. You can get a lot of NPR listened to in that time. And I've come to be friends with these people over the years, and I miss them because I'm not doing that anymore.
Your NPR friends?
I miss my NPR friends, and I wonder if they miss me too. I wonder if they know I'm not listening. I feel kind of like I've betrayed them.
You know what, Jen? Here's the other side of the coin too. As I'm talking about all this alone time and how much I love it, now I'm the one with my oldest, especially, who, spend time in his room or in the Xbox with his friends. I'm the one saying, oh, hi, I've missed you. I've hardly seen you today. So I guess they're wanting their alone time too, probably, especially now, because all they want to do is be with their friends and not us all day long. So, we try to cut some slack, but sometimes I really do. I'm like, I want to hang out with you. Don't you want to hang out with me?
Well, maybe if you learned how to play Fortnite, Sharon, he would play with you. He'd spend time with you.
He would play like that. I did learn to play Among Us.
You did?
Yes, they loved it.
Teach me, because my kids don't want to teach me.
They don't? Okay.
Well, maybe they would.
They're just a little bit younger. Well, a lot younger and developmentally. So they're 10 to 15. And they were thrilled that we were going to learn to play Among Us. And we're predictably terrible at it. So it was a nice thing for them, too. They could just beat us at it, too. Because still with a lot of board games, not with the oldest one, but, we're still beating them. And it's like, they love to be the expert. And
yes, they do.
Yeah.
We discovered a board game that I don't even know if it really counts as a board game, but Codenames. Is that one that you turned me on to?
I love Codenames.
Yeah,
We all
I
love Codenames.
think you gave me that one. What we like about it is you can play it at the dining room table after dinner and maybe do 2 rounds, and it's 15, 20 minutes and you're done.
It's true. It's true. It's not like there's a long score sheet and you have to play 12 rounds or something.
Really easy. You can learn it quickly. Good for our shortest attention span type brains that we have right now. But the thing that gave me the most joy is that initially we paired up so that we each took one of the kids as our partner, and the kids at some point looked at each other and said, "We want to be a team. We know how we can read each other's minds better," and they just totally whooped us when they did it.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought that was pretty good for you and your husband too, because you have all those years of history.
He's a bad clue giver.
I hate that.
Yeah, no, I mean, he doesn't. We just don't think the same way. Sometimes there are some times where we get things that are generational.
Sometimes you need a sibling for that.
Yeah, they definitely have each other's number. They know how the other one thinks. So that was actually very rewarding. I enjoyed that. So
well, we got away from alone time and went straight to family time, because isn't that always the way? I mean, no matter how much we say we want alone time, it's like a rubber band where we just, okay, I need to be alone. Oh, but I'm back, and we want to be back with our families. So
well, it's like so many things in parenting. It's a spectrum, and we're trying to find the right balance. And I also want to give a shout out to a really fabulous article that Sharon just wrote in Washington Post on parenting, because it's that same concept of how much is too much and not enough, and the idea of involved parenting.
Yeah.
And how sometimes we go a little too far and we're too involved. But the other end of the spectrum was, as somebody pointed out, the bean dad who won't do anything for his kids, and it feels punitive. And Sharon, I think, honed in on this fabulous Goldilocks approach, which is apprenticeship parenting.
Childhood is an apprenticeship in adulthood.
Yeah.
So, and we're the masters.
You definitely need to read this article.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Jen.
I wish you could have written it 5 years ago. That would have been more helpful.
It's good I did. It's good I have it, because that makes me perfect, right?
Totally.
Yeah. Well, if you have any comments, if you want to share about your alone time, and we'll share Emily's article too.
And Sharon. We'll put them both out there, because we have so much good content.
We do. All right. Well, Happy New Year, everybody. We're so glad you joined us. It's sad that the break is over, but it's also good to be back together. It's time to take down the Christmas decorations in our house. I'm kind of ready to get things back to regular order. It's time to return. It's time to stop eating all the Christmas goodies in my house. Luckily, we ate them all. They're gone. I'm not going to make any more. So I hope I didn't do damage to my I had my annual blood work this morning. Where they check your cholesterol and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Right after Christmas, is that the time I should have scheduled that? Well, we'll see. Stay tuned. I'm not going to report on my blood work.
All right, everybody. We will see you back here next week. We'll have a fresh topic. We don't know what it's going to be.
You tell us. Tell us what you want to talk about.
Yeah, please tell us.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.